Hafaday, and welcome back. Now, Guam talent can be found everywhere. In this case, it's the runways and catwalks. Here's more on fashion designer Julius Leano. Fashion designer Julius Leano was born and raised on Guam. He says he grew up around the Agat, Rita area and would eventually graduate from Southern High School in 2005.
And after I graduated, I moved out here to Seattle and started college here.
Initially, Leano majored in computer science.
Seattle, like you think of Microsoft, and so I was going to school for that for 2 years.
At the time, he was working for a retail store as a fashion stylist. He said it was a job he really loved.
I loved like dressing people, and I loved, making them feel good about themselves no matter what body they had.
Although Leano was good at computer science, he wanted more. It was then that a friend who was attending fashion school at the time suggested that he try his hand at fashion design.
After a while, I just decided to bite the bullet and jump in and start fashion courses. And ever since then, I've been doing what I've been doing now. So it's been great. So I really don't regret making that decision at all.
So fast forward, and Leano has not one, but 2 fashion lines.
I have 2 different brands. I have Juliano, which was my first and main brand that I came up with. That started back in 2012. Back when I was in school, I was already doing national shows. So I did my first show here in Seattle, my first fashion show in Seattle. And I had to come up with a brand name. And I've had this email address for the longest time, Juliana. So I was like, oh, that's it. And so while I was in school, I always wanted to have my own men's underwear line, and I couldn't somehow, combine those because it's too confusing of a target market. So I decided to come up with Juliano Men, and that one I officially launched last year at another fashion show here. And just recently, I finally launched the online shop and the pop-up shop as well.
And it's not just anybody they let into Fashion Week.
There was a selection process for Fashion Week, so obviously like anyone can have a brand, have a collection, but they only pick the best of the best. So there was a lot of designers from from Portland, some from LA. There was also some Project Runway designers on there. Actually a Project Runway winner, who I forgot to meet briefly. So they kind of separated into different categories. The first 2 nights of Fashion Week was more ready-to-wear production. And then the last night, the finale night, which is what I was part of, was more custom wear night.
Recently, Leano had a pop-up shop for Juliano Men at Seattle Pride Fest, which drew thousands. With places like Vancouver and Portland knocking at his door to participate in their Fashion Week, Leano may have a busy schedule ahead of him. He's crossing his fingers, however, to do a fashion show in Los Angeles, noting that it's great launching ground. As for his advice to those with big goals,
if you keep working hard towards your goal and towards your dreams, that's when your dreams become reality, Because dreams stay dreams until you act upon it, and then they become reality.
And final words?
Well, I want to say thank you to all my friends and family, mostly in Guam, who support me while I'm all out here, and all my friends here too. And thank you to everyone growing up who's influenced me to always work hard for what I have, because it really does pay off in the end.
To learn more about Julius's line or to show some love, you can like Juliano Fashion on Facebook and follow on Instagram. You can also check out his webpage at juliano.com or julianomen.com. Well, after this quick timeout, Asha Robles has a lowdown on Summer of Sounds 2015 when they took over Green Lizard. You're watching In the Mix.